Are we live?
Yeah.
We're live. Okay. Welcome to the Solution, a real estate podcast. This is where Jeff Sibbach, Phil Sexton, we interview top, wonderful other real estate agents, both in our market, outside of our market, to help understand what they're doing to put the consumer first and to grow their business in this wonderful, crazy market that we're all living in. This is episode 104, and I'm really excited with our guest today, Mr. Sibbach.
Are you excited because we have the #1 rep agent in Arizona today?
Yeah, the #1 Hispanic agent in Arizona from the 2018 numbers. Yes, he's number 9 in the country for the production that he does, that he and his team
But
do.
I'm more excited because he's actually a practitioner, right? Because we've had this movement in trying to talk to people that are still working actively in the business. And Daniel Barraza is kicking ass.
Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Did you say it's episode number 104?
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I remember you started this. I was listening to the first like 10 or 11, 12 or 13 or so.
And then we
Really,
lost
104?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's really good.
104. Let's see. We've had a few my home groupers on the show before, including Jeremy came on. Jeremy Clevin, not the broker anymore, just the owner.
Yeah, we had George Lawton on.
Yeah.
We had Jason Mitchell on.
Yes.
But
This is our first #1 Hispanic.
Yeah, you don't get that.
That's right. Yes, that's awesome.
So tell us about his production.
All right, production-wise, we've got currently you have 14 members on your team.
Maybe 15.
Maybe 15.
Maybe
Yeah,
15.
maybe
I don't
15.
know. We'll see if if that DocuSign came through. Weird. But you were actually only at 6 members last year, like as of November. So
We're gonna get into his explosive growth and how that's happening
So
for sure.
14 members of the team currently. 2018 production, you did 30 million personal
29.7, we rounded up. Yeah.
300,000.
30 million personally, but the team did 46 million.
Correct.
Which is awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
And then of course
Yeah,
that
it's
was
outstanding.
up from the year before. Currently, you guys are on 33 million year to date with this market right now, so that's awesome. We're excited. You're actually the only agent in the My Home Group Hall of Fame.
Correct.
Living in a Hall of Fame.
Listen to that. Yeah.
Can we start with how's that possible?
So it was back in 20. I think that what happened was, and I don't know if Mark and Jeremy can listen to this, but I think this is what happened. It was when Jason Mitchell came onto my home group.
Uh-huh.
It was either Jason Mitchell or Joshua Smith. So I was getting the #1, units and #1 volume every year because I've been with my home group since 2012. So every year is #1, and then finally they get these big heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Like, you got Jason Mitchell and
Joshua
Smith.
Yep.
And Lon came in a year later. But when they were coming in, so then I no longer was getting any of the #1 awards. So I think they kind of felt bad for me.
Oh.
We'll give them my Home Group Hall of Fame.
But that's still a good title though.
They opened it, they brought you in, and then they closed it. Like, no one else is coming in here.
But I use that. Sometimes I go listen to presentation, and I'm competing against other agents, even my home group agents. So I always throw that in there. It's like, I'm the only one in the My Home Group Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but it just shows the consistent production year after year and being a dominant agent in the Valley that we want to dig into. So great job.
Thanks.
I'm actually, one of the reasons why I'm excited about our podcast today is because we pre-show started to talk about the difference between personal production, team production, which is very timely because the Phoenix Business Journal today I saw they launched their list of the most productive teams in the Valley according to last year's 2018's numbers. And Jeff Sibbach and the Sibbach team, Nammit, you made it in the top 2.
Actually, after hearing Kenny Claus came on. Actually, Kenny Claus came on and he made #2 sound so freaking good. I was like, I'm okay with #2, right? Like he's like that. No one's after #2, right? Like everybody, you no
longer have the target.
Yeah, right.
George Lawton's team beat us. Obviously, he has been on the podcast.
He's gonna own it for a long time. Let's be honest, right? No one's getting #1 from George for a couple of years.
Yeah, his production this year will probably that number will triple. I think.
Yeah. Well, his goal is to get to he said $1 billion.
Which
that's huge.
But back to Daniel.
Yeah, back to Daniel. All right.
So, what do you consider personal production versus team production? Like, how do you keep those numbers? Because the reason why I bring up the Phoenix Business Journal is that they have an individual agent ranking or they have a team ranking. And last year we were individual agent versus team. This year we're team. So how do you keep those separate?
So with the the list that just came out today, it was number 20. I was number 23 in individual on volume, number 4 in units. So I've always been
nice. Number 4 in
Number 4 in
units.
units.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always been most, say 85, 88% of my production is in the West Valley.
Like 85007, right? Like
85019,
Yeah, right.
85009. Most of my stuff is West Valley. So obviously the prices there, you can see the prices there are much lower. So I've always been a big units guy. And I'm okay with that.
Well, I also noticed that in stalking you that you double side more than most people as well. I don't know if that is because, or I'm curious about that. We'll get to it later, but continue.
We do. Well, so I do most of my West Valley. So I've always been early on. I started my career in 2011 doing short sales. And then obviously the market turned around. So I've always been heavy listing agent. Though today, my production is 60% buyers, 40% sellers. That's turned around as of the last year. So I've always been heavy on the listing size, going after listings and units, going after versus, I know in the industry, we say volume as price, but most other industries, they call volume the number of units that you do.
Yeah.
So I've always been a big unit kind of guy. I've always been getting transactions in.
Yeah.
And the reason
How many units is that? How many units?
The last year they had me, Phoenix Business Journal had me at 111. I don't think they counted double sides because double sides I was about 130.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it depends on, because real trends count a different way. I count the way you do, and that is a side is a unit,
Yeah,
right? Like,
it's a commission on both sides.
right.
Yeah.
Nice. So you count units.
More
So how do
importantly,
you know
usually
which-
two different families or two different,
Right,
buyer and seller, right? Like
Yeah.
two clients. Yeah.
So how do you separate your production number from your team production? Like, what do you? Let's say that I join your team and then I meet somebody and sell them a house. Is that your production or mine?
No, it's your production. So the reason I did this. So I meet a lot of other top producing agents and teams, and a lot of them, with the exception of you guys, a lot of them they count their their agents on their team. They count the production on their name. And when I first joined a team back in 2011, my team lead was doing this, and I would say 90% of his production was actually my production, and he was getting these accolades and these awards. And
That's a big 90% is a
90% of
big
it.
number.
Yeah, 90%
Wow.
of it was my
That's why he
production.
left.
Yeah.
That's why I left. That's why I left. Because at least throw me a bone. Like at least
Yeah.
recognize.
Right,
Put me in the Hall of Fame.
So for that reason,
Something.
I said to myself, when I start a team, if I do, and I did, I'm never gonna have the agents that they have their own client, their own open house lead, their own stuff. They close it under their name. If it's my lead that I generate through my production, through referrals, through activities that I do, then that lead closes under my name. So
Well,
that's
we're
how
going
I
to talk
do it.
about referrals. I know that you're awesome at that, but it's funny. Well, to me, he is a case study. Well, actually, I just wrote an article at inmin.com because I was writing for their team, whatever portion of it track. Yeah. And I said that exactly what is the key to a successful team leader. And that's, you got to be a producer, right? And because when you're converting the leads yourself, it's just a lot easier because the people want to see the systems and the processes. But also, if you don't have the team, if you can't produce the production, it's hard to grow a massive team,
Right.
because they just don't believe in you. But you're leading the way, and that's why.
Well, I would agree with you, but there are a lot of teams out there that the team lead does zero production, but yet has a good system in place.
Well, but actually, what my thing is the. But no,
Thank you for not naming names.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, but let me say it this way. Not that you would be familiar with this, but typically once one of the members exceeds them, they leave.
Yeah.
Once one of the team members exceeds the team leader's production.
Yes.
Right.
One, or even approaches their production.
Sure.
What it is they lose. I mean, it's what led me to eventually, because I was under a mentor. And then the next year I did more than him. And I was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Right. Like, to me, as a team leader and as a great team leader, you have to continue to provide things to help them grow their business. But it's hard once you get to 15 million, 20 million, 25, 30, 40 million to continue to grow. Right. So, but I use the NFL or the NBA as an example. Who's talking at the games? The ex-NFL players, right? It's why Kurt Warner's in the Hall of Fame. What do you know? They got him they got Michael Irvin on that. I mean, we're talking about football because it's football season, but our industry, nah. Let's talk to the person that's out on the fucking bench. Ooh, sorry.
I just want to put an edit in here. Sometimes your websites are not safe for your children.
No, but that's very true.
No, but it just makes more sense to be under because
Someone who was actually doing it.
Yes. Yes.
Well, wasn't the term that the NBA used like something about it's a players league, or what was that term they were using? The NBA said something like players.
Players only is a section
only.
that they do on the NBA channel, players only discussions. But I think it's been a challenge for our industry because even in the current model, everybody's taught by the broker, but the brokers are not practicing anymore. Right. So then it's like, well, we gotta, it's a challenge to that model in the future.
Yeah. But it's brokers, it's business owners of companies that sell products to realtors. It's vendors, it's ancillary services. Like you think about who's on stage at the conferences and who are the ones that are up there preaching how to be better at your job aren't always the ones that are in the living room that are winning.
True.
Right? Yeah. But where do you go to get your inspiration from?
So I early on was with some of the masterminds we were involved in, right?
Yeah. I'm going to bring that up.
Yeah. So with Lizzie, right? I met her in 2012.
Lizzie Hofer's his lender.
Yeah, Lizzie Hofer's my lender.
Yeah.
And she's, to me, she's always been a big inspiration. When I met her 7 years ago,
she's a bigger inspiration to all of us. I mean, because she just runs a kick-ass business. Yeah,
she is. And what she's done, I mean, when I met her, she only had 4 people on her whole staff. Now she has 40 or 50 or something like that.
We sat in a full room of people during a Monday morning meeting. Yeah.
We're all.
She's running a branch.
We're all in Lizzie's world. Right
Yeah.
But I mean, not only is she my lender, but I consider her a really, really close friend. We talk a lot. I think we probably talk at least 2-3 times a week, and I would say more than half of the time it's not even about business. It's just about how are the kids.
She's a great gal. Yeah. No, so we like her.
A lot of inspiration from her. She encourages me a lot. She pushes me a lot. She really pushes me to go above and beyond. And
so are you big on Facebook then?
I am big on Facebook. Yeah.
Nice. But not running ads. Talk about being active inside the Facebook world.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And that's one thing that I also admire about Lizzie. Like she's on a calendar. I mean, and her posts are like just perfect and perfect timing. So she's been encouraging me to do the same. I haven't yet. Get a calendar actually going and
because you don't want to get to 100 million. Right? It's hard. It's hard.
All right, so
yes. Well, the question is will the mortgage stuff relate? Because it is a little bit different than house selling as much as, I mean, obviously she's done a good job mentoring lots of agents.
The thing too, that a lot of her content that she puts out there is for consumers, and lenders normally they go after agents, not consumers. So I tip my hat off to her because a lot of her content is for consumers.
Yeah. Well, our industry's missing it. I mean, we're reinventing ourselves and going after consumers. Actually, this podcast is about putting the consumer first. Thank you for bringing it up, Daniel.
Let me tell you one thing that I don't remember which one of you two I was talking to. I think I was talking to you about
soccer.
No.
Oh.
No. One of our masterminds.
Children.
We're talking about the platform that we use. And at that time, I was using Real Geeks, and I wanted to go into Commissions Inc. And we were going back and forth. And I remember you said, "Well, you think this was better for you, but what does a consumer think about it? When they go on your page, what do they feel about it? Are they happier?
Yes.
This or happier?" And I got me thinking. I'm like, that's true. We need to be more consumer driven versus just what's easier for me, but also take into mind what the consumer will like or want.
I remember that conversation. I enjoyed those masterminds, and one of the most memorable things that is talked about in our office more than you probably know was your presentation.
Yes.
What did you present? Do you remember what you presented?
Yeah,
I do. Oh, sorry. You tell us.
It was about the top 150 list and talk about things that I do back for my database, the birthday programs, the life events, top 150 list is what I talked about.
Yeah. So you had a sheet that was, I think, 2-sided. It was, or 2 pages, and you had all the dates written down for a year. So honestly, when I heard you just describe what Lizzie does for you from a social media calendar, I looked at you doing that for us from a past client follow-up calendar. Like you were pretty rigid. What's the word I'm looking for? Like,
well, all right. Let's ask the proof question. So what percentage of your business comes out of that 150 list?
I'm going to say, because again, database, that's my top 150 list. For my database referrals is 88%. From the top 150, I'm probably going to say 70%, 69, 70%.
Yeah, no,
That's a
database is
lot.
where I was at. It was still because you have
88%.
overflow, and I mean you're still doing. To me,
because there's past
it was more
clients.
databases where I was
Yeah,
at.
because there's
Meaning,
past clients, for example, that bought with me 3 years ago.
Right.
They're not in my top 150,
correct.
but then all of a sudden they refer me somebody. So
Yes.
I count it as a referral. So
Yes.
88% referrals.
88%, outstanding. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
for a database.
And one of your questions that you sent over pre
88% of 30 million, right? Like
Right.
25 million out of his database. That's pretty dang good.
Right, and referrals from them. So it could be them buying or them
Yeah.
referring
No.
somebody.
To me, just that's the source of whatever the business is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the questions was, what were you doing? What are you doing today that you weren't doing in 2017, or what were you doing in 2018 that you didn't do in 2017? So that I remember that sheet that you guys had. I think it was 2017, 2018. And one of the things that I'm doing very similar, but something big different that I'm doing today that I wasn't doing back then was, back then, if you see that sheet that I had, I think there was either 3 or 4 big client events. So this year I'm doing 8 client events throughout the year. Yeah, and the reason why is because back then I would do these big events and I would put an announcement on Facebook to my top clients, and it was always the same people that would show up to the events. It was always the outgoing ones, the ones that go on Facebook first and RSVP, and so it was always the same. After about 5 or 6 events, I see the same people. I say, I want to go after those shy clients. I want to go after the clients that closed 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that's never been to any of my events. So what I did this year was in January of this year, I did my 2019 clients only, a dinner for them. February 2018, and March 2017, and then April 2016. I took the summer off because it's hot.
It's summer. Yeah.
And May is like a big graduation.
Yeah.
And I took the summer off. So I'm going to start up again in October, November, December, and do every year. December, I'm going to do 2011 because I only had like 13 closings. That was my first year, and I think it was only 6 months. So I'm going to do 2011, 2012, and
There's
2013.
nothing to be embarrassed about.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
So I'm going to do that combined on December. But what has happened, I already did the first 4, is that it brings out the shy clients that would not normally come. Because on those, I have to pick up the phone and actually call them. And
Wait a minute. Let's slow that down. Can we rewind that clip?
Yeah. Say it again.
I'm sorry. What do you do?
You actually have to pick up the phone and call them.
You call your past clients.
Yeah.
You pick up your phone and call your
Do you
past
leave
clients.
voicemails? Do you text as
Well,
well, or
you
just
don't robo-dial them?
No.
You pick up the phone and you want
Yeah.
them to pick up?
So
And mind you, his average sales price is under 300,000, right? Like to me,
88% of his business comes from his database.
Yeah, I know.
Continue to tell us you pick up the phone and call your database.
Yes. No, I do a robo-dial only on the week of the events. For example,
it's a retouch.
to let them remind them.
Well, to me, I think there's a use for the robo-dial, but it is not to replace you. It's to assist you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't think they mind when you call them and then you robo-dial and you call it. Like that's not a big deal.
Right. I've already talked to
It's
them.
like, oh, you don't have the time to call me? No, I just talked to you, right? Like this is just the information.
People hear robo-dial.
Yes.
Yeah, I learned this back. I did a robo-dial. I think it was Thanksgiving 2016 or 17. And one of my clients called me out on it and said, hey, you gave me this robo voicemail, but you haven't called me all year. Ouch.
Oops.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I wanted to specifically do, okay, this year, for example, this month, I'm only going to do 2017 clients. Okay. Pick up the phone and call each and every one of them and invite them. And that'll get, number one, get me back in touch with them, with the ones that I haven't talked to because they haven't reached out to me.
So why do you think that though? While they respond to you, are they responding because it's the personal call, or you think it's because you say you bought a house for me in 2014? I want to take you to dinner.
Both. I mean, they bought a house from me. If you just do the invite, it's the clients, the outgoing clients that are on social media are going to go. But if you pick up the phone,
so how nice is that dinner?
It's like Grimaldi's. So Grimaldi's.
Which one?
The one in West Valley, obviously, out there in Peoria.
I figured
there's
the one in Peoria.
There's a couple
okay.
out here in the East Valley, out here in Scottsdale. But it's nice because if you've been there, they have Frank Sinatra playing in the background. They dim the lights, and I do it in the patio, so it's the lights are very dim.
Yeah.
They got Frank Sinatra playing, so it's almost like a date night, for a lot of these clients that come out. And it's inexpensive, very inexpensive, $1,200 including alcohol. And it's
so what percentage of the clients you think you get?
Percentage of them.
Let's say
I always get a good between 45 to 55 people that show up.
Nice. That's
Per year.
awesome. What day of the week do you go?
Because last year he had 100. You said about 130 units,
Right.
And you had 55 people show up to your
client event.
Right. Yeah, but that's 50 over the years. I'm more impressed because it's just out of that year.
That's where I'm.
Right, yeah.
That's why I was comparing it to just last year's.
Because when I invited the 2016 clients, right, that was the challenge because a lot of them I haven't really talked to.
Yeah.
So okay, so what do you say when you show up?
When they show up,
I'm just teasing because that's what my agents always ask me. Well, what do you talk about?
When they show up, oh my gosh, that's the best part, right? Because that's when the events. You should not be, and I tell this to my team because what you mentioned earlier today is I show them what I do. I'm showing them my road, but this is how I've done it. Now I want you to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to invite your clients. You're going to do a client event. We just did the first client event for one of my agents on our team, and it was amazing. It was a week and a half ago. But anyway, so I tell them the day of the event, you should not. Don't be stressed out 4 weeks before the week of the event. The day of the event, that's the day you should be totally calm and relaxed. Because that's about having fun. That's about shaking hands, kissing babies. That's about just, being involved with them and just chatting with them. It's about just being totally relaxed.
Right.
If you're a person that stresses out easily, go get a pedicure, get a manicure, get a massage that day. Just show up, totally relaxed.
Do you look up the clients that closed like a day or two late to know that they're coming or not?
What do you mean?
I'm teasing, but I mean, because sometimes not every transaction goes perfect.
Easy.
I'm just being real,
okay,
right?
I'm glad you mentioned that.
Okay, so
some of those clients, right? This happened to me when Lizzie was forcing me to call.
The truth comes out.
The second Tuesday of every month, I would call, and I'm still doing this today. Second Tuesday of every month, I call all my closings from the prior month that closed.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Yep.
There was this one client I did not want to call.
Yeah, of course.
It went really bad, and she blamed a lot of stuff on us. And it was just one of those clients that would never be happy no matter what, because not every client's gonna be happy. I
tell my wife, I said, if we only worked with the ones that we liked, we'd only do 20% of the business. Right? Like, just the reality of what it is. No, I mean, there's going to be difficult transactions. It's fact. Whether it's your fault or not, there's still going to be frustration. Go ahead. So
I picked up the phone, even though I didn't want to call that client. Called her and she was quiet, and I was like, "Are you there?" And she was quiet, and she says, She says, I want to apologize.
Yeah.
And I'm like, go on.
Yeah.
She said, I had just broken up with my boyfriend, and he had just left me for somebody else, and I was in a really bad place, and I was taking it out on you guys.
Mm.
And that.
Hey, man, that's awesome. Yeah.
If that phone call would have never happened, I probably would have never ever reached out to her.
Yeah.
Good by you, because the funny thing is one of the things that agents, I actually started doing this with people when they started yelling at me. I'm like, you know what? Son of a bitch, I agree. This is stressful, isn't it? Because sometimes they just want to take it out on you. And I'm like,
it's personal.
It's personal.
I know this is personal.
I know it's like, even we sold his dad's house, right? Like, broker of the year, agent of the year, all that crap shit.
He's in his own Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and he was all caught up in it. I'm like, yeah, you can't get away from it, man. Like, no matter what, it's personal. Yeah. But it's hard to call those people. Right. Well, it's funny because I also had this thing, especially when I was doing a lot of buyer agency, where the people would get so frustrated about something that went wrong with the transaction, or something wrong with the house, or, I don't know, the neighbor's dog is barking, blah, 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 blah. Because, the neighbor lived there for 12 years and nobody came to their house, and all of a sudden there's 30 people showing up and the dog's barking. Well, of course, because it's out of the usual. And then you call them back 6 months later and they're like, what are you talking about? Like, do you remember, but how's the dog? What dog? Yeah. Wow. I'm like the amount of times I've asked people after, they really just they
back to being nice.
Yeah, they were out of their element. So
yeah, because a lot of people, you already know it's a stressful transaction for a lot of people, and you just have to know that you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know what just happened in their life. So if somebody's cussing you out and screaming at you, is just taking a step back and acknowledging maybe they're not in a good place in their life. That's what I learned from this one client is maybe they're dealing with other stuff too. It's not just the house.
I like that you get dedicated day. So how many times do you touch with a phone call every client? Is it just now once a year?
My top 150 clients,
the people you like,
the people that I like.
Do you keep it at 150?
No, it
Okay,
always
so it could be
fluctuates.
250 by next year.
No, right now I'm at 180, 190.
Yeah. Okay.
But you
Because-
kick people off.
I do. If they don't refer me somebody within 18 months, yeah, they have to get off the list.
Oh,
Because you want people
We
on
forgot
there-
that.
that's a good one.
It's always a work in progress. It's never going to be perfect. Like
So
for
they
example-
have to refer you a client.
Yeah. In order for
Is
the
what is that? You
client-
call them up. Hi, hey,
You're about
thank
to
you
be
for.
removed from the
Yeah. You got 2 months, man.
No, but so I try to take them out on either lunch, coffee, or even a double date. If they have a fun spouse, then I'll take me and my wife and
Does
then
Ruby approves, or Ruby approves.
Ruby
of?
approves.
Yeah.
She has to approve of it. No, Ruby. I mean, she goes along with whatever.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She supports me so much. But so on those clients that I'm about to kick out, I want to take them to lunch, or coffee, or even a dinner. Just trying to kind of fill them out.
He's working the list. Let's be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah,
right?
because,
Like,
because sometimes somebody in that list, if they say, "Oh, well, my sister got her real estate license," oh, I didn't know. Then I take them off the list. But if they're like, "Oh, I've been busy, I've been involved, I've been this and that," it's like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm having this event. I'm getting this refer." I talk about refer. I never tell them you haven't referred anybody. I just bring it up in the conversation. Then they'll automatically say it.
yes.
And then months follow.
Yeah.
Not even a month, maybe 2 passes by, and they'll refer somebody.
Yeah, because you talk about other people referring you.
Yeah, it's you have to train your database to refer you. They're not just going to refer you just because you invite them to dinner.
Well, I laugh
But
because
hold on. Let me take this one. You have to train your database, but what you talked about is one of the ways that you train your database is by telling stories of other people in your database.
Yes.
he's a storyteller.
Yeah. So you're
Weird.
talking about the friends
Mhm.
that or the clients that Bob just referred you,
Right.
and
Right.
how do you then transition into you just flow?
You just say it. I mean,
But well,
Yeah.
it's funny because just to go deeper on that point is when my wife, when I first became an agent as I was coming out of the software industry, also got a great supportive wife like you. So does Phil. Thankfully for us, because it helps a lot
Love you, honey.
because they
Of
got to
course.
understand. But I had to help her how to talk to that point because it's not familiar for them. But it's interesting that you say that because that's a very valuable takeaway.
Reminder.
Is that you because people struggle. I mean, just like agents struggle with what to say at an open house or what to say with, when they're in a difficult situation. The client doesn't know how do I approach this because they don't want to seem pushy or they don't
Right.
want to. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but
and
I'm
I'm-
guilty.
Yeah, and I'm not too much of a pushy guy, but sometimes you do need to be. For example, the only times I've been very direct with somebody and told them you're no longer in my list is when they ask me, say, "Hey, I noticed I didn't get any cupcakes this year." Right? Then I need to be direct with them. Oh, the reason
What
why
month do you send cupcakes?
I send
Their
cupcakes
birthday.
every year on every time.
Oh,
it's
oh,
birthday.
okay.
180 cupcake deliveries this year.
Yeah,
Sprinkles?
yeah.
Wow.
No, I do
Okay.
bun cakes.
Oh,
Nothing
nothing
but
but cakes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome.
Because those are a little bit smaller, and they can pass them out. I like to deliver them at the offices if they work at an office.
Yeah.
Because they can share more with coworkers, and by doing so, and I've heard it before. Sometimes I deliver some of them.
Yeah.
So I try to do at least, I would say, a month. I probably do at least 4 or 5 that I deliver myself to birthdays a month. And I like to go to the offices because there's a lot of coworkers there,
Yeah.
right, that have jobs and that potentially can buy a house.
So you do like a pop by to their office?
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard this too sometimes. I've
So
heard
that,
this.
like, what day of the week do you deliver them?
It depends
Whatever
on my
day their
calendar.
birthday is? Oh, just
Yeah.
around their birthday.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
All
I
right.
mean, if their birthday's on Friday, I know a lot of people.
That's 180. That's like almost every day.
I only do about 3 to 4 a month that I personally deliver.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right,
The
okay.
other ones are delivered by a courier,
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right.
so I don't do all of them. So the
3
ones
or 4 top 5 refers.
no,
No.
I
The
I
people you
like
like the most.
the people that have worked somewhere that there's a lot of people.
Oh, strategic.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
even
yeah.
better.
And I've heard it. I'll deliver them, and I'll hear the coworkers say, as they're grabbing a cupcake, I hear them say, "My realtor doesn't do this."
Always, yeah. That's awesome.
Not many realtors do that.
Yes.
Do you go above and do you brand? Do you have
No.
you just do regular cupcake? You just
Yeah.
buy our bun cakes.
Yeah.
Do you bring them from
Dude,
the bakery to
he
your
does-
office?
he
where you
does
have a
brand
staging
them.
Ground? Hold on. Yeah, with himself.
Yeah.
Do you bring them, or do you just have the courier go to the store and pick them up from the store and take them right to the people?
Yes, pick them up from bun cakes.
From bun cakes and take them right to the people.
Yep.
Nice. Awesome.
Do you ever take
I
them
like it.
beer?
No,
Oh.
no, but I mean, I do happy hours once in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I like it.
All right.
Wow,
So
dude,
we.
I love the past client focus.
Yeah, I love the. I mean, we're.
And that he's in it.
We
You're in
are.
it. That's
Well,
what I like.
we are in it. We're just not as deep as he is. We're really trying. Well, because you know, we went to Inman this year and they, you know, announced that Amazon was, you know, entering the space. And it just seems like all of the money they showed this like big graph is after trying to get to our clients.
Right.
Right. Like, and the industry does not do it. I mean, you were in the elite of taking care of your clients.
The top 150, I mean, I don't know if you read the book Raving Fans. They are literally my raving fans. They're raving fans. And they've called me. I get calls from them saying, hey, you know, I got this offer from Open Door. Can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yes.
They know it's there.
It's constant communication.
But they're always reaching out to me about inquiring about Offer Pad or Open Door or whatever. And that's kind of the relationship you want to get to with your clients, enough to where if there's ever a real estate question, they're going to first consult you before they do anything. Even refinances. I mean, they'll call me and say, hey, my bank offered me this, offered me that. I don't know much about, you know, refinances.
Good deal, yeah.
But at least I'm happy that they're calling me. And I asked them the 3 most important questions. Well, what are their closing fees? What's your interest rates? Let me make a call and make sure it's competitive.
Because you're trained well by Lizzie.
Yeah.
Because when it's Daniel's birthday, Lizzie shows up.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's more than cupcakes.
I cannot say what it is. I don't want to get her in trouble.
No. She takes him out for a nice meal is all. Right?
No,
Like,
doesn't matter.
Well, that's
it's not business. It's more because of our friendship.
Yes, of course.
Actually, so I'm curious. Can we talk about the other 12%? Like what? Because I know. I mean, before this started, the reason why Jeff commented about soccer is I go to a soccer tournament with Oscar. He got picked up on a team, and what do you know? The team is sponsored by the Barraza team. Wait a minute, I know this name.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what are your other avenues that bring in the other 12%?
So there's Zillow. Zillow brings in a pretty good business. Sign calls and open houses are the other 3 sources where we get our business. The whole branding, we just started doing that on shirts. One, because I'm actually going to a listening appointment today at 5 p.m. that came from the soccer team, the soccer family. Yeah. So that's actually the first one because of the branding. But I didn't really do it for the branding. I did it just because my kids involved.
Absolutely.
So you're cool because we're going to be at the tournament together tomorrow, right? You're cool if I bring the Sibbach easy up?
That's the reason why I did it too. So quick story. If Chris is watching this.
What up, Chris?
Yeah, you know Chris Verdu. He's on my team, and
Chris who?
Verdu.
Chris is the one of the kids on the team that Oscar got picked up on. Her parents both were repping Barraza.
Nice. Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, do you guys know Daniel? And Chris was like, yeah, I work with them. I'm on his team.
So when we did our first T-shirts and they had the Barraza team on there, one of the soccer dads says, my little girl's not going to wear that. Like, that's my competition, and it took the little girl off the team. But, that kind of stuff, it's silly.
So
like
silly.
If Sibbach's going to sponsor my kids' soccer, heck yeah, go
for it.
Right.
Yeah.
As long as the jersey is nice, do it.
But, it's the scarcity mindset there. Right.
Well,
it is like,
but
you got to be small to think that one shirt is going to make an impact, enough of an impact where you're not going to let your kid wear it. Like,
to me, it's no different than using Facebook and running ads versus actually communicating with the people and talk to them and actually, commenting with them and then acknowledging their post and what's going on in their family, which is the way to leverage Facebook, not running the ad. It's not that it's you working and talking to the people when you're at the games and being a cool dude, right?
Like connecting them as
Speaking of running ads, so I haven't ran ads on Facebook, but I know it works. But
no.
But when I feel like really long closes, that return's gonna come. It's just
way up.
If you like to give away money and I hope it comes back.
We just weren't that good at it.
Oh, okay. Well, that's exactly
You're really great at Zillow.
We're good at Zillow.
Yeah, I'm not that good at Zillow.
Yeah.
But it's still one
hard.
of the ones you
but
mentioned.
I want to focus on this team unless you want to tell a story, because if you want to talk, I want to shut up. But I want to learn about what happened only because, the market kind of got a little squishy at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wouldn't have been thinking, I want to grow my team at the end of last year, because for us it was soft. Maybe it wasn't for you. And then the start of the year was soft, but yet you went through an explosion. Tell us about why and how that happened.
I've always had conversations
because then you went from 6 to now 15 team
15, depending on So I would always have conversations, and I would be honest, and I wasn't growing my team. and I wasn't interested in growing my team. And the beginning of the year, we made a decision, let's grow our team. So I never put
meaning you and Rudy or the Joe Ruby.
No, Ruby.
Yeah.
No, me and Modesto and Casey. Casey's a big part.
Joa.
Casey Joe. Yeah, I know Casey. Yeah.
I stalked you well.
Casey's amazing.
Yeah.
Don't go after her.
And Joel or no?
Joa.
Joa.
Is his
Oh,
wife. Joe's the husband.
I was only reading the text in MLS. So Joa. Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
So we made a decision. We're going to grow our team this year. So then the conversations I would have, I said, okay, yeah, I'm going to start growing the team this year. I never really put an ad out or never really did any Facebook videos. Hey, I'm growing my team. I've never done that. It's just started happening. I can't really pinpoint to what. It's just me having conversations.
Okay, but I mean, have you spoke at like what is I know they do a Wednesday training event at my home group.
I haven't done it in about 8-9 months.
All right. So nothing. They just started at
You know what I attribute it to? Now that I'm thinking about it, is I'm in the board on NARAP now. I've been on the board on NARAP for about 8-9 months, and on there a lot of agents come, and I did make it known, hey, I'm growing my team.
Oh, I just happen to be on the
Oh,
board.
yeah.
I was on the
volunteer.
board. No, because you
I
have
love the volunteer aspect of it. So thank you. Right? I think that's great. There's too many people that don't volunteer that should, and it's the ones that are doing business. It's nice when you got somebody that's doing as much business that you are, to then give back, because you bring that practitioner's perspective to a lot of these decisions that are being made.
No, yeah, they asked me to be an executive board, and it's like, no, I can barely make it where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
it's because it's a lot of commitment. Because I'm busy, and then I got soccer too. I'm coaching now my 6-year-old soccer team, so awesome. I can't be everywhere.
Well, what are these all agents, or do you have members of the team that help?
Like
staff, yeah.
So Casey Joe is licensed.
Okay.
Modesto is also licensed. They're on my staff. So Casey, Modesto, Carla, and myself.
Okay.
We're the only one on payroll.
Right.
Everybody else is just
agents.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the total's 15. Okay, good deal. Awesome. So all right. So then they approach you at the board, and then you're like, well. I mean, here's the thing: are they new agents, or are they seasoned agents?
Some of them are experienced. What I have been getting, I got 3 of those agents were started on my team when they first were an agent back in 2014, 2015. They were with me. They completed I make them sign a year agreement.
Yeah.
And then after the year agreement, they go off on their own, and 3 of them came back.
Nice. Good deal.
Awesome.
So what do you promise them? Do you promise them leads? Do you promise them training? Do they go on listing appointments with you? Do they go on buyer appointments?
So, no, I do not promise them leads.
Okay.
We do a lot of training. I do mentorship. I do promise them mentorship with me, at least an hour one-on-one a month.
An hour one-on-one a month.
Yeah.
Okay. Good deal. And then
it's just me and them. Now this is apart from the training that they get. We do monthly trainings. Not only
and then they got to pay a split though to be on your team.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Good deal.
Yeah, we're on an 80-20 split on my team.
Nice. What about if you provide them a lead?
It's 50-50.
50-50. Buyer and seller?
If it's a hot lead, if it's a lead that's like they're ready to go right now, or it's a seller that's in the seller houses, they get 40-60 stays in the house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. So what is all right? So more importantly, what's the vision? What's the goal do you like? Because the thing is about managing a team, agents like to complain.
What?
I'm just being honest.
I'm an agent.
I'm sorry. I don't mean agents like to complain. Agents like to ask you questions about things that they disagree with.
No, I have this thing with every one of them is there's no one size fits all. It has to fit your personality. It has to fit who you are. For example, I would be a horrible cold caller. I'm a horrible cold caller. I don't take rejection very well. Somebody rejects me and forget about it. I cannot make another call.
You're an agent. There's no way you suck at rejection. I just don't believe that. You can't do 30 million and be that bad. Now, we don't cold call either, and I don't like the strangeness of that. But
yeah. No, I don't take rejection well. I don't. And I think if somebody rejects me, let's say a family member bought a house with somebody else.
Ooh, off the
definitely.
Done with you.
Yeah, no longer invited
no
at
more
Christmas.
cupcakes.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Wow.
No, and I grew up. My dad
So you're kind of like a godfather in that sense.
Cut them off. Yeah. So I grew up. My dad would always tell me this. He says, always, when I was very young, I would say preteen, I was 11, 12, he would tell me, always act like you're running for office. And I don't know what he meant, but like, always run like you're, and he told me this way, act like you're running for the governor. Act like you're running for mayor.
Get a Twitter account?
No, what he was trying to tell me was always smile, always shake people's hands.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Always be nice. Always don't burn no bridges. So when I was very young, that was very ingrained in me. So I was always nice and courteous. But when I became a real estate agent and family bought a house to somebody else, I told my dad, I'm not talking. I don't care if you tell me to go shake my aunt's hand. I'm not going to go shake your hand. I'm not happy she bought with somebody else.
See,
she didn't vote for me.
That to me, I guess I am better at rejection than you. To me, you know what? In real estate, shit happens, and that to me, the amount of times now that somebody went astray, and then I still added them to my database, and we follow up with them. It's a
long game.
It's a long game.
We play the marathon. And the amount of agents that come in and out of this business, like I know that's going to happen. I know that friend that they got the referral from today isn't necessarily going to be in the business 2 years from now. And so we have a different philosophy on. We don't have a top 150, but we also don't do as high level of gifts that you do, right? Because our number is bigger.
Right.
But every time we have somebody on the podcast that does the amount of business that you do, or even more or less, whatever, I always take away things that we have to get better at.
Yeah, no, all right, so
like
good. Well, let's go back to it, right? So tell us about the because we're doing a movie event in when is it?
I was about to mention.
October 19th.
October 19th.
I'm not sure when.
20th.
Yeah,
I think it's the 20th.
And we just did a cooler giveaway, prize, random prize, whatever. So what are the events that you do? You said you did
dinner.
8.
Dinner.
It's just
dinner.
Yeah, no, I did do a movie event, The Lion King.
Awesome.
Did that one.
Okay.
Next year I'm gonna do. I did this in 2016. A picnic. So client picnic.
Like
that one was
wintertime.
Yeah, like in February.
Yeah, March, yeah.
Right.
Or when I did it in 2016 or 17, I can't remember. We did it in October, end of October.
Of course.
Yeah.
It was a carnival style. Brought out a little petting zoo, and
I like it. I don't know. I know we're getting close on the hour. I appreciate your time being in here. Do we get any questions that we need to jump in on? No.
Yeah, we're just chatting. No, that's why.
The movie event. How many seats did you get?
I'm looking at Mauricio saying, how many seats? What? 100 and something.
The amount of volume you guys do, you gotta go for the 400.
400?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
You guys can do it.
And call, right?
Yeah.
And
well, that's
call
what it
invite.
is.
Well,
That's absolutely what it is.
And you do it.
No, are you saying 100 clients, not 100 total people?
100 seats. 100 seats in the movie theater.
I was gonna say I did a movie event
we could do 400.
in 2012.
Come with like 3 or 4
It's just
people.
not enough effort to get the people to come because it's
you have to call.
Well, I mean, we did a movie event at the end of 2018.
You're talking about with the HOA?
No, we did one then too. But we did where we allowed people to get tickets. They just had to go to our website.
Yeah.
What year was that? 17 or 18?
Probably 17.
How many people? But we gave away
Lots, couple hundred.
Yeah.
So we had
right. They responded when they didn't have to come see me. They were like, "Oh, we'll take the tickets."
Yeah, but this is just a different play, right? Like we have obviously we have a different play than you do, but it's all about trying to incorporate the ones that
to
work.
me, it's also
so let's tell about how we do it.
Bigger versus because you're more focused. Your territory is a little closer. As we expand the team, it's hard because we got people in the Arrowhead, and then we got people in the Southeast Valley, and
Mesa.
Also our numbers are not because last year I sold 176 houses. You sold 140.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty close.
Units.
So what's that?
I said I get the feeling you don't want me to tell the story.
No, tell the story.
He's cutting me off like Phil, don't go there.
No. I'll tell the story. That was not it. I was just amazed at his. I was more impressed with his number.
We need to call.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what
lazy.
Is we mail,
yeah.
right? We mail and we need to call. That's it. Do you mail also?
No.
You just call.
Call
Oh
and text.
gosh, call.
I don't
and
pick up.
text. No
voicemail
mail.
and text.
I like that. I like the cost of that actually. So we mailed all of the people that we had in our database.
You're not calculating the dollar per hour activity, but yes, me too.
Oh, I am.
Okay.
I just
But
know
the
how much we
return-
spend to our
the
printer
return
on
was
that.
totally
But
Agreed.
yes,
Agreed.
the return is actually
Because the
a lot more.
The referrals don't. A lot of people, a lot of agents think that the referrals happen the day of the event or after the event. The referrals happen throughout. You're calling them, you're texting them, and then
Right.
they remember, and then a few days later they send you a referral.
Yeah.
I get most of my referrals not the day of the event or the day after. I get them through as I'm messaging them, as I'm reminding them. Then they remember me.
That's
'cause
an
I'm talking to
activity
them.
we can do in the office. I think
Yeah,
it's like a
agreed.
Wednesday afternoon from like 3 to 5.
Totally with
Thanks
you.
for the inspiration.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
We
I
send
hate
them
being
we send
lazy.
them a piece of a letter, a card, a nice card, right? That you fold open. It says, we're giving away. We want to take you to the movies. So go to our website and let us know if you want Harkins tickets or AMC tickets. And so that gets them to the site. That's why we play it a little bit
Hub
different
marketing. Hub
where we
marketing.
get them to the site to fill in a form where then their information is updated and we're able to then share the tickets with them. But we play the game online a little bit different, right? Where the call is a better touch for. I don't know. I'm a fan of the call.
Well, I mean, we're getting
we're
better
gonna
at it.
call.
We moved my wife out of accounting and into marketing, and she was telling me a
Oh,
story.
she's gonna have a lot of calls.
She,
today.
no. I think it's going to be a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
staff event.
Yes.
Is what I'm picturing, because she was talking about how she talked to the client last night and trying to get better at what you do.
Yeah, that she's having great conversations with the
Yeah,
clients. That's
right.
it.
They're
I
like,
like it.
who are you? Because she's not a practitioner, so she doesn't work in the. She is on the team and works her ass off, just not in the face
This
front.
is her last name.
That's all she does. Yeah, Mrs. Sibbach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
by the way, really quick. So the top 150, I have a closed group on Facebook, and I do a monthly raffle for them.
Oh, and you kick them out of the closed group on Facebook.
If they're not on my top 150, yeah, they get. So, and it's a closed group.
Is there one more nugget you can throw out? Like, so closed group on Facebook and then you do a raffle. I like that is
I like that.
Legally, you have to put everybody's name in it, right?
everybody.
Everybody's name is the legal way to do it. You put everybody's name in it.
You mean all of your clients? You mean?
All the people in that group.
In the VIP list.
In the VIP list, yeah.
Okay.
And then you pick out the names, and for some reason, it's like the ones who referred the most that month, the ones who
Just happened to win.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Yeah.
happened that way.
That's awesome. Okay, good.
Luck.
Yeah.
Luck.
Yeah.
Randomness. Yeah.
Oh, Daniel, it's been a pleasure.
I know, but
to
we
have
got.
you
Is
on
there
the
okay?
podcast.
In closing, though, is there anything that you would like to talk about that we have not talked about in your greatness?
No, this was cool. I mean, I appreciate the invite. I've always looked up to you guys, so this was nice.
You're
It was
not
good.
taller than me.
Thank you. Let's thank you guys. If you enjoyed the episode with Daniel Barraza, who's killing it, based in the West Valley.
My home
you guys
group.
cover Valley-wide?
Yeah, we do Valley.
He covers Valley-wide with my home group.
Wherever his referrals take him.
Wherever his referrals
Yeah.
take him. Give him a like. Give us a like. Have a good day. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Take us out, Mauricio.